One of the least discussed parts of the golf swing is the finish, and yet it's one of the most important things that you can learn to do, whether you're a beginning golfer or a more established player. And today I'm going to share with you some information that you won't have heard before, both about how to move your body correctly and how to move your wrists correctly to produce a consistent finish every single time. So when it comes to golf instruction, both online or in print, you're going to find very few articles or videos that discuss the follow through, and yet this position and this part of the swing is extremely important. Many of you won't realize that. A lot of the time I get asked the question, well, why does the follow through even matter? The ball's already gone. Well, if that's the case, then we would argue that you should just stop the swing immediately after impact and have no follow through at all, but that wouldn't make much sense either. So before we start, what's the function of the follow through? What are we actually trying to do? What is the purpose of this part of the golf swing? One of the primary objectives of the follow through is to slow this club down. Okay, this club's moving at 100 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, depending on the club that you're using and your ability to swing the club at a certain speed, but it's moving very, very quickly at the bottom of the swing, and then it stops in a fraction of a second. So the function of the follow through should be to slow the club down, both safely in a way that doesn't hurt or harm your body, and in a way that doesn't jeopardize the geometry of the swing. That means continuing to give you the ability to hit the center of the club face, control and maintain the conforming to the arc and the swing path that you want to, so that you can hit the ball not only far, but also control the direction. And when you look at the best players in the world, their follow-throughs are very controlled, they're very balanced. They look very different to the golfer at the weekend who's on the course who can't break 100. Follow-through matters. If you didn't know it, you need to understand that it does. And today I'm going to show you exactly how you can practice it to make yourself a better golfer. So let's think of the finish like a destination. And if you have the same destination every time you get in your car, you're going to end up taking the same route, you're going to end up getting to the same place, and every single journey will be successful from that point of view. If you flip that on its head and you said that your destination, i.e. the finish, changed every single time you left the house, your journey, your route to that destination would look different. Equally, if your follow through is continuously changing, it's random, it's chaotic, there's no control to it, then there's very little likelihood that this bottom piece of your swing that we all know is so important, impact, there's very little likelihood that there's any consistency to what this looks like. So think about this destination. I'm going to show you exactly how to get here and how to practice it. And if you make the destination the same every single time, the route you take to get there is going to start to look extremely consistent, extremely repetitive, boring almost. The fact that you do the same journey every single time, but the outcome is that you always reach your destination. That's how I want you to think about the follow through. So let's find your ideal destination from a regular standard setup. I've got some pressure here with my arms against my body. I'm going to stand upright, keep my arms connected to my body. I'm not going to lift them up. I'm just going to make this single movement of standing up or extending my spine to the point where my spine is vertical or even just slightly bent back with my chest a little bit up towards the sky. So that's the first movement. We're going to extend up and away from the ground. And in addition to a drill that I've shared with you before, I'm going to add in an extra piece today. We're going to take this drill and move it on to another level. This is beyond hit hard, stop quick, which I know so many of you enjoy. It's also beyond the 90-90-90 drill, which is an extension of that. We're going to add 90 degrees of radial deviation or wrist cock at this point in time. So we're going to take this club from its original condition, stand up, extend my spine, and hinge my wrists. So the wrists and the forearms here, we have about a 90-degree angle. The second part of this exercise is we're going to add as much hip sway or as much hip tilt as possible. So from down the line, I'm not turning at all. There's no rotation in this exercise yet. Okay, it's pure lateral. So I'm taking myself, I'm extending up, hinging my wrists up, and then moving my pelvis as far towards the target as I can, while keeping my upper center of my shoulders or my head, if you will, keeping that where it was. So my belt buckle has moved significantly across to the left, outside or on top of or outside my left ankle. But there's no rotation. Stand up, hinge the wrists, move the hips to the left. This is the tilt. This is the hip tilt to the right. This is the shoulder tilt to the right, which we need to have at the end of the swing. That's what good golfers demonstrate. They demonstrate being their inclination to the ground is more consistent and stable than the poorest players. So one more time, stand up, rehinge, up to the 90 degrees. Move the hips and the pelvis as far to the left as you can. I'm keeping my right foot somewhat down, it's extended, banking inwards. We've talked about this right leg before. There's videos that talk about how this works. The legs are straight. Now, from the down the line view, like I said, you see at this point there's no turn. Now I'm going to keep all these alignments, keep this right shoulder low, and now I'm going to turn towards the target. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. All right? That's our destination. That's where we're going to try and finish. We're extended, we're tilted, and we've turned, and in this example of the drill, we're beginning to rehinge these wrists. It's the rehinging of the wrists in a good swing that slow the club down. In your swing, it's likely the flexing of the arms that you're choosing to use to absorb the speed of the swing. And that's because of these poor body mechanics that you have. As I demonstrate good body mechanics, you'll be able to keep your arms straight and you'll be able to rehinge the club as a mechanism to slow the club down, add speed to the club head, and help you to hit the ball higher. All in all, if you can learn to get to this position every single time you swing, your ball striking will improve dramatically. So clarity on where to stop, stand up, hinge the wrists, slide the hips, and turn. Get as far around as I can. Okay, this is where I'm going to try and stop. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit one. Maintain my inclination to the ground, arms pretty straight, the wrists are recocked there. That's a nice shot. That's a 180-yard 7-iron with what looks to most of you, I would imagine, like a very short follow-through. I can promise you this, I help players on a daily basis to control their follow-through and improve the mechanics of their follow-through. And every single time that results in better ball striking, better distance, and better control of their shots. And yet, everybody complains about the fact that it feels like a short follow-through. I'm going to tell you this for free. Your golf swing, your follow-through there's almost 100% certainty your follow-through is too long. Okay, it's too long. You're not controlling where the club stops. The club is controlling you. And if you look at the best players, they have the ability to stop the club, break it. Remember, they're swinging faster than you are. They're able to stop and slow the club down, break it, slow it down, and control their finish with balance. That's the value to having a good follow-through. So think about this next time you practice. You are likely to benefit both your quality of your ball striking, the distance you hit the ball, and the control of your shots if you learn to have a shorter, more controlled finish. I think that's interesting, and it's something you might want to think about, because I see it every single day in this bay, how helping people to do a shorter, more controlled finish improves all of the pieces of their ball striking, the quality of the contact, the distance, and the control of the curve. That's what we're talking about. The function of the follow-through is to slow the club down in a way that doesn't hurt yourself, you maintain good, safe body motion, and doesn't disrupt the geometry of the swing. It doesn't start to throw this club offline, throw your body off. If you're losing your balance at the end of the swing, that's certainly something to look out for. So again, learn the mechanics, understand where to stop. This is a destination, it's somewhere that you're trying to get to. Understand what this feels like. Weight forward with the hips, rotation. This is where we're going to stop. And then we'll go ahead and hit balls, stopping in that same place. Again, another nicely struck shot, tiny little draw back to the target. Very controlled finish, the ability to repeat the mechanics, the quality of the strike. The swing path starts to get more reliable, more consistent. My face angle is more controlled because my wrist angles in the finish are equally more under control. There is so much value to learning to do the follow through correctly that it impacts so many pieces that precede it. So much of the downswing, impact itself, and the follow through is controlled by where you finish. I hope I've made that clear. I think there's an enormous amount of value in learning to do this better, and there's lots and lots of reasons for you to do it this way. Do the drill, do them slowly, learn the destination, understand what the follow through should feel like, and then get out there and practice hitting some balls, filming yourself and making sure that you're repeating and maintaining those alignments in the finish. I was somewhat inspired to film today's video because of a blog I read from a professional colleague, Nick Adcock, who teaches down in Lake Mary, Florida. Nick is an exceptional instructor and an extremely talented writer whose blog is extremely informative in terms of educating golfers via the medium of text rather than what I'm trying to do with the video. If you like reading and you want to explore some of this stuff a little further, I'm going to link Nick's blog down in the description. You can check out his website, and if you're ever in the Lake Mary area in Florida, I would highly encourage you to take a lesson with him. So you now know where to finish. If you find this version of the drill a little too difficult to do, there's smaller versions of it for you to build up to. We have the head on the wall drill that's back in the archives. We've also got the 90-90-90 drill, which involves the pivoting part of that without so much of the re-hinging. So if you find this one a little too difficult to do, you can look back. I'll link those in the description. But if you're really interested in adding the perfect backswing to your now perfect follow through, arm structure, wrist structure, and pivot can all be found in this video right here, which you need to go and watch next.